Alright guys, our 620 has had plenty of time to set up. That's what we're talking about for the injector cups that we put in. Now we're getting ready to put some injectors in. I got one right out of camera. All the hardware needed. There's our glow plugs we removed earlier and our little piece of hose we used to get them out. All 8 squirt oil diverters. The upper bolts, the lower bolts. Since I had test fitted a couple injectors, got some new crush washers. And then the injectors themselves. I bought these from Full Force Diesel. Really a great product, and guys are really great. They know their stuff. They're the ones that helped me with this build. And we chose to go with a 205 cc load with 30% on the injector cup, 30% over. So it'll get us to about 420 horsepower and no smoke. We don't want smoke. We're after power, not smoke. That together with our turbo selection, which we'll go over when we put that in, will get us in that ballpark with all the rest of the mods. We should be good and healthy. There's a couple things to note of these injectors. When I first ordered them, Full Force did not offer brand new injectors, only rebuilds. So I purchased those. And then several months after I purchased those, they came out with new injectors. And I figured for this build, we really want new injectors. So I called the guys up, says, hey, I haven't put these in yet. Can I swap them? They said, sure, just pay the difference. So they're almost local to me. They're 200 miles away. So I drove up there and met the guys and picked up these new injectors instead of rebuilds. And really a bunch of nice people. If you have any needs or want to know how to build to get to a certain level, these are your go-to guys. I really highly recommend them. And they've got a great product. They've been around for a while. Their injectors have been around for a while. They have a reputation as one of the better injector builders. So we'll go with it, see what we get. All right, so they say to use oil on the O-rings here. I prefer to use this stuff. It is specially built to make installing O-rings a piece of cake, which is what automatic transmissions are basically are. They're one O-ring after another and rubber seals and stuff, and it really makes them glide together well. So we're going to use it. We'll coat each O-ring and set them in. So let's set up and get that going. Okay guys, the lowest my torque wrench goes is to 150 foot-pounds, so it's not going to ring, but it'll read the torque coming up to it. And these go to 10 foot-pounds, which is 120 inch-pounds. So let's see what we get here. All right, there we go. All right. This one was in once already, so it's got a new crush washer on it. And the O-rings are coated with the transmission assembly lube. It's real simple. The slide goes up. This is the oil ejector port, so it goes up. Really hard to work around this camera. Let's see. It's almost in all the way already. All right. The top O-ring on these things are really stiff. So we may have to persuade them a bit here. Okay, that one's in. It's down all the way, but let's see what we get. Torque wrench is rather large, so let's pull it in with this. Like I said, 120 inch-pounds, what we're going for. We haven't even broke 100 yet. There we go. $120, all right. Okay, next is our oil squirter. And they go in like that. Really difficult to work with the camera in the way, but we'll see how we go. It's a 5mm Allen. Alright. It goes to 9 foot-pounds, which I can't measure, so we'll get them good and tight. Alright. That's it. Pretty much that's it. Now, wash and repeat 7 more times. I guess we could put the glow plug in now, or we'll put them in before we put the harness in and the gaskets. So I'm going to pull back where we were before and just run this, and you guys can, I'll probably be high speed, so let me rearrange for that, and we'll put all these injectors in. It's just that simple, guys. It's not a big deal. Okay, here we go. By the way, these are directional. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a hump on one side and a divot on the other. The hump goes towards the injector. And I put a little bit of our paste on there to retain it. Now they're a snug fit. As you can see, they've got, they're kind of not completely round. So they are, I use a 10mm socket and push them down. At least start them that way anyway. Seems to work pretty well. And that's how they'll look. They're actually made so they're really difficult to lose. But I guess you could if you really worked at it. Like I said, I had a couple of these in for test fitting to make sure things were correct. They were. And then we decided to change to the stainless injector cups, so they had to come back out, and as a result we need new crush washers. Alright. Let's get the top bolt in. It wasn't that the threads were boogered up, it was this plate, the slide plate, has a lot of play in it. And it was all the way down. So you couldn't, so the angle on the bolt was wrong. So what you do is loosen it up, push it up like it's supposed to be, cinch it up, and then torque it back down. That's all that was the matter with it. Threads were fine. Besides, I don't have a tap for it. Some oddball size. And once we adjusted the clamp, yeah, it's fine. That's a bit much. Let's just spread that out some. Spread the love. There we go. That's better. This stuff is really slick. And it's great for holding stuff against, like you need to hold a gasket in. Stuff works wonderful. And it's completely oil soluble. So it's safe as far as that goes. Alright. Of course, it would help if we put it in right side up. Now you don't want to be whacking on that thing too hard. It is, I think it's Bakelite. Almost feels like it. Might be ceramic. Oh, we did it again. Okay. I can see that it's turned a little. That's better. All right. They do need to line up straight, so. And there's tons of videos on these, putting these things in, so. It's not like this is new. Oh, that's really loose. Okay. You can feel it going down in. That's kind of neat. It's pretty slick. Tell you what, International sure built a good system here. Unfortunately, it seems Ford wanted to take over engine design, and you got the 6.0, and from there on, I'm not too sure about Ford diesel engines. My son had a 6.0. It ran good until it didn't, and then it was lots of work to get it running. I helped him with a little bit, but he was he took care of that one himself. I know it was out here in the garage quite a bit for some oil cooler problems, but you know, everyone has its little idiosyncrasies, so. Once again, I think we're going to have to adjust this one too. It's not a big deal. Yep, there we go, slid up. That's fun. Slid up just a hair. Just enough to get the threads in. One side done? Cool. Now we'll pause the camera, flip around, do the other side. Piece of cake. Alright guys, on to the next bank. Like we said, plastic cap comes off. Full force gives you a new crush ring. So the only reason I had to replace a couple was because I had them in and crushed the crush ring. So. Make sure this is lined up. There we go. You can feel it go solid. That's better. Oops, I forgot to put the bolts in. Wow. Sure did. Glad I didn't drive that one in too far. I like I haven't done it before. Wow. That one went in by hand. Nice. That stuff is amazing. Alright. I set up the torque wrench for these 5mm. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just read 9 foot-pounds of torque on it. Yeah, let's do that real quick. I'm going to pause it while we set the wrench up. Okay, 9 foot-pounds of torque is 108 inch-pounds. So we'll do the same thing. We'll just read up to it. Go through and torque these real quick. Alright, it's off camera, but I'm going to do the other side. I'll just pause it here. You've seen torque wrench before. No big deal. Okay guys, injectors are in. There's a reason for keeping everything kind of organized and neat. I had 2 injectors in. There's 2 crush washers out of the news, or out of the old ones. And we have 8 caps. Keep them on a table where you can count them to make sure you didn't miss something, because people interrupt you, you get distracted, whatever. And of course we've got to put the glow plugs back in. And we're set up for that with a 10mm wrench. We'll get them another coat of Never Sees on them real quick and put them in at 10 pounds. If you're interested in how to do that, it's covered in a video on a cylinder head build. So is installing cups, by the way, but we did the stainless cups, so I wanted to cover pulling them. So this concludes the injector install. Thank goodness. And I believe I'm going to keep the box with all the shipping contents, because Full Force is really good. First of all, they put each injector in a Ziploc bag, then they wrap it, then they individually box it, and then they put them in a box made to fit just 8 of these injectors. And I'm going to do injectors in my daily driver, which is a 96. It's got 350K on it, and it's running on the original injectors. They run fine. So that's why I'm not in a hurry. But it's got a ton of oil leaks on it and stuff. It's typical 7.3. It's marking its territory. So we'll when this truck is back together and roadworthy, we'll probably pull the daily driver in and pull that engine and reseal it and put these stainless injector cups in with new injectors. The one good thing about putting these stainless injectors in, well, new cups in with the 620, is you can now run the newer type of coolants, just like everybody else. You can put the 500,000 mile coolant in because 620 is not bothered by the new type coolants. The original glue that the injectors cups had was affected by it, and they would start to leak. And you'd end up putting injector cups in anyway. But if you change them and use the modern glues, you're golden as far as your choice of radiator fluid. This one's going to get the, I think it's called Fleet Guard. It's by Presto. It's really good stuff. And I'm running the pink stuff in the other truck. It runs real good too. But you still have to change it, I think at 100,000 or 150,000, something like that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The injectors are in, and next is the harnesses, and then the valve covers. And we'll cover those in the next video. Thanks. And thanks for stopping by, guys.